welcome to another episode of the Isolation Central. My name is Hammad, and as you have seen that in the previous four episodes, I have been talking to different people and addressing different issues which we are dealing with during the coronavirus pandemic. So today we have a special guest from a very far country, at least from Pakistan. She is a very old friend. She's not that old by age, but she's an old friend of mine. Uh, and she is teaching English in Brazil. So welcome, Renata. I hope I pronounced your
Thank
name
you.
rightly. So
Yes.
first of all, how are you doing, and what are you up to?
Well, I'm fine, dealing with quarantine, staying at home as much as we can. I mean, sometimes we have to go out to buy like groceries and other stuff that we need, but g- staying at home, working, home office, that kind of stuff.
So is it like a complete shutdown there that you can't go out at all, or it's like you can go out, but if it's absolutely necessary, how is it working in your country?
So in Brazil, every state is dealing with a little bit differently. In our state, the governor, thank God, he's also a doctor.
Right.
So from the very
That kind of
beginning,
stuff.
when it
Is
started
it like a
spreading here in Brazil, he told us to shut down schools, and then gradually he started like shutting down restaurants, clubs,
okay?
like parties and other stuff that would make a lot of people be together,
Right.
right? But we can go out if we want for to buy food. I mean, some restaurants are open, but you cannot eat there. They can only deliver.
Right.
And supermarkets are open. What's it called? The place where you get gas for your car? The gas station. The gas station is open, and pharmacies, they're all open.
Right.
We can go outside, but they advise you not to. Like, we won't get a fine or anything if we stay inside. But if you see a lot of people together, for example, in like parks or in places like that, you can call the police and they will go there to like tell people to go home. But that's basically it here in my city.
Okay. And tell us when did it start in Brazil? When was the first case reported, and how long it has been since the pandemic broke out, and what's the current status there?
So the first case was confirmed on February 26th.
Okay.
So it's been a month,
Yeah.
right? But the problem is this first case was right around Carnival, which is a very big
Oh.
event here in Brazil. So it's where a lot of people are together. So I think that's like one of the biggest problems because we don't actually know how many people are in fact infected or were, because maybe they're already cured and we don't even know about it. Um, the numbers started growing in São Paulo and Rio de Janeiro because they are the two like biggest cities, right? Like airplanes going in out, biggest like international airport. Um, what was the other question? Sorry.
Yeah. So what's the current status? How many people have been affected here?
Right. So they believe it's about like 2 to 3 thousand infected
Right.
and 77 deaths this morning. But like I said, the problem is we actually don't know the real number. Some specialists say it might be like five times more
Hmm.
because of everything that's happened, and also because we don't have enough testing material to
Yeah.
test everybody. So we are only testing the very serious cases, the ones that go to the ICU.
Right.
So we don't know the ones that like are asymptomatic, or maybe that the symptoms are not very critical. So we don't know the real number. We estimate about like between 2,500 to 3,000,
Right.
kind of.
Yeah, it's more or less the same situation here as well. In Pakistan, we have less than 2,000. They're roughly 1,200, and we have the similar like 9 deaths so far. But the issue is that we are also not testing, everyone. So
Yeah.
the number can be as high as 10,000, maybe more, because a lot of people who went for to different religious pilgrimage to Iran, so they came back. They were roughly 6,000 to 7,000, and a lot of them have been tested positive in this case. But we have only tested a very
Hmm.
small percentage. So if we are going to test the entire 6,000, for instance, then we'll be able to judge that what's the real number. So it's a very
Hmm.
difficult situation here as well. So we also fear that the number might be really high.
Yeah.
What's the general morale there? How are people feeling about it? Are they scared? Are they frightened?
So, I've talked to some people about it. At first, we were all very afraid because it's something new. It's something we don't know. If you went to the supermarkets, you would not find hand sanitizer anymore because people
Yeah,
ran out and bought them all. They also bought like alcohol, the ones like rubbing alcohol.
yeah, yeah,
So in the beginning, a lot of people was very terrified, and we also had the people who were like, "Nah, that's nothing. I mean, please, that's just like a little flu, a little
yeah,
something."
yeah,
But now I think people are getting a bit more conscious about it because they see that everything's shutting down. And especially because we get news from Italy every day, because Italy is very, very critical.
yeah, yeah,
It's like 700 people dying every single day.
yeah,
Like in 24 hours, 700 people dying. So we can see that it's getting very critical. And we also don't want to repeat that mistake, right? Of like not shutting down everything down. So, but now people are getting a little bit more relaxed, which is where I think I should be worried
true.
because they might start wanting to go out again. Because in my state, we don't have many cases, thank God, but we also don't want more
Yeah,
cases. So we still have to be careful, right? So that's the feeling. I feel like some people are very scared of it, very afraid, very paranoid, and others are just like, I don't care. It's just like,
hmm,
no, it only affects like old people or
hmm,
people with chronic disease. I don't have any, so I'm good. Like
yeah,
they don't think about other people,
yeah,
and they don't think that maybe they will be affected more than others because every organism is different, right? So we don't know.
yeah. And if even if they're not get fed, if they even don't become ill, they can become the carrier as well. So even if you don't
Yes,
get the ill,
exactly.
you can get your family this virus, or the older people or the younger people. So even if you survive, there's is a big chance that you might be the person who's spreading it. So staying home
Yeah.
is the solution.
It is. It really is. Uh, um, this week, our president
Yeah.
made a very worrying um, speech on live TV. I don't know if you heard about it.
I did, but go
Um,
ahead.
he, so he basically said that it was just a little flu and that we have to worry about the economy as well, which I don't disagree because the economy is important. But he kept saying that the young people who could not get sick should go back to work and should have their normal lives and leave only the ones that are in the risk group at home,
Yeah.
right? And he also stated by saying that if you are very healthy and athletic, you will not get
Yeah.
the virus, it will not affect you and stuff. So that's really reckless, in my opinion, because after that, I noticed that in some parks, there were more people than there were supposed to. So probably
Hmm.
they were like, oh, I think he's right. We should go out. I mean, we cannot stop our lives. But we know that's not how it works. We can look at um, Italy, how things are going there. It's awful.
Yeah, the same
So,
similar. Spain is doing really, really bad. The United
yes,
States
yes.
is now the country with most number of cases. So they have surpassed China as well, which is an achievement because China had like eighty
But,
thousand people. So
yeah.
United States has more than that. So that's a big thing. I think that takes us to the point because more or less the same thing is happening here as well. Our leaders are also talking about the economy and not shutting down the entire system. But
Mm-hmm.
what we also forget is that if we are not going to shut down it completely, then the number of cases might rise. And when the number goes up, then the cost of those health facilities and health system will also go up. So that is again going to affect your economy. So it's basic,
Of course.
and probably in the second case, it will be losing your lives and economy, rather than the first case
Yeah.
where just losing money and probably will be able to save some people. But when someone, a person from an authoritative figure, or someone who is the head of state, or a very influential person, say stuff like takes it lightly, then people do get to become tend to become careless. They think that it's
Yes.
okay, then we'll be okay. But I really hope that people realize that it is their own responsibility to stay home and take care of them and their families.
Yeah, like I said, we are lucky here in my state, and not only here, but I heard that in other states, the governors are doing the things by themselves. They're not listening to the president.
Yeah.
Like I said, my governor is a doctor, is also a doctor. So after this speech from the president, he did his own speech, and he
Right.
was actually talking about it. He was like, "No, don't listen to him. In my state, we are going to do things my way."
Hmm.
Because I'm a doctor and we have to follow the protocol.
Yeah.
So World Health Organization are telling us to stay home.
Yeah.
So we are staying home. We are going to stay like this until it's necessary. So I'm really glad actually that he did that
Yeah.
because I was very worried that since he is a big supporter of the president, I was afraid that maybe he would do the same things as the president, you know?
No, it's a very smart and mature decision, that to do what WHO is telling you, and making a decision on your own than blindly following anyone. I think before we wrap up, what is your own routine nowadays? Because you are at home, so what's keeping you busy? What are you doing yourself to keep sane?
Mm-hmm. Well, so I'm an English teacher, right? Schools, so the governor shut down schools, but he also said that we could continue online classes.
Right.
First, he was thinking about anticipating the school holidays, the vacation that we have in July. So we have the whole month of July because school here starts in January and ends in the end of November.
Okay.
So we have 1 month in July to rest, and they wanted to anticipate that. But then they started thinking that maybe the quarantine would last longer than a month. And then when we went back, what would happen? We would not have a break in July. What would we do? So they decided to have online classes, and each school can decide how they were going to do it. So some schools are doing live lessons like this. Others, like mine, we are recording the videos at home and trying to edit as well as we can because we don't work with that. And we are uploading it on YouTube and other platforms so the students can watch and continue their education without like staying behind, like trying to move on with our lives. So I've been really busy because like recording and editing these videos are not easy and it takes a long time to do it
Yeah.
because we're not skilled. So like we have to learn how to work with the program. And I'm also like listening to music, doing the things I like as well, not only working, because I think it's important for us to do things that we find pleasure in, right? So like listening to music, watching videos, watching Netflix, and stuff like that. Since I can't go out, I mean, I went out to a supermarket, but like that's not like going out.
Any good Netflix recommendation?
Well, I'm really into Korean stuff right now.
Right.
So I'm watching a Korean TV series called Crash Landing on You. It's pretty good, but it's very romantic. So if people don't like romantic stuff, don't watch it.
Yeah, I heard the
But
Korean
it's
dramas are doing really good globally.
yeah. It's like it's getting really popular in Brazil. I never thought it would get here, but it's getting really, really popular among Brazilians.
That's interesting because the Korean music is already a global phenomena. The K-pop is
Yeah.
already a big hit. So recently I got to know about K-pop. I am not still following K-pop, but generally I keep track of the news, what is happening there. So I just thought the main cultural export they had was music. But turns out that their dramas are doing pretty well as well, pretty good as well.
They are. Listen to BTS. It's very good.
Yeah, so I've
But
heard.
there's also another TV series that I was watching. I mean, if you are really scared of
Yeah,
pandemia, how do you say that? Don't watch it because it's about
yeah,
pandemias.
yeah.
It's
I
I think
am.
it's actually called Pandemia. It's a Netflix documentary
Yeah,
about like researchers around the world who work trying to find these pandemias before they begin, try to find out where it can happen and what they do, and others who are trying to find like vaccines before the disease gets here. So it's a very interesting documentary as well.
yeah. It showed up on
But
my.
if you're really frightened by
Yeah,
coronavirus, don't watch it.
yeah. It showed up on my Netflix as well. But I was like, no, I'm not going to watch it. I am going to relax and to keep my mind free. So I'm not
Yeah.
going to diving in because it's all over news. You open up your Twitter account, you open your Facebook, and everywhere you see new news breaking out. Just few hours ago, we got to know about that British Prime Minister had coronavirus now. So
Really?
yeah, he was diagnosed positive. He's doing okay, but now he's like the first head of state who has been diagnosed, Western head of state who has been diagnosed. So it's getting right up there, and it's about time that our rulers realize that we have to break those myths that it doesn't survive in hot weather, or if you can kill it with steam, or it only affects older people. So it's not like that. It's something that that is going attacking
Mhm.
all of us, and a lot of people have died so far, and they will continue dying if we are not going to take care.
Yeah, and it's also going to like flood the health system, which is the worst. So the doctors, the nurses, they're all putting their lives in danger every day. And so if we don't help them in the way that we can, it's going to get a lot worse, right?
Yeah,
So I think it's important for us to realize that we're all in this together and we all have to do our part,
yeah.
you know, to help these other people who are risking their lives every day, right?
Is there a
Oh, by
particular?
the
Yeah,
way, I
sure,
forgot to tell you something.
sure.
The governor also is doing, well, since he doesn't know what's going to happen, there was a hospital, I think it was so interesting. There was a hospital here that was shut down some years ago, and they're going to reopen it to become like a place for coronavirus. So the other hospitals can also work with other diseases because people get sick every day. It's
Yeah,
not only the coronavirus, right? Like heart attacks and surgeries and everything. You cannot stop. So he's reopening this hospital to help treat the coronavirus people
right.
or
That's a
people
good thing
infected with
because
it.
I remember China making temporary hospitals. We
Mhm.
have in my city, they have also built a 1,000-bed temporary hospital. So it was a huge, complex where business exhibition used to take place. But now they have converted into an isolation center. So
Mhm.
coronavirus affected people will only stay there. So the rest of the hospitals can take care of other things. Okay, tell me, is there a particular media campaign going on in Brazil? Are the celebrities coming out, giving out messages? If there is a particular campaign on social media, on national TV, on YouTube or something, are the stars or the celebrities, footballers, for instance, are they coming out and giving the message to the people?
Yes, here in the state, it's actually very funny because our governor is doing absolutely everything he can. So we anticipated the flu shots for the risk group so that if they get sick, they will not confuse it with coronavirus. If they get really sick, we would know faster that it is the coronavirus and not like the normal flu because the symptoms are quite similar.
Right.
And so a lot of people were like lining up, and like they did not have the safe distance or anything like that. So he went there and started telling people to go home and like organize everything. So everywhere that he sees that people are like very close together, a lot of people in the same place, he goes there himself, like he doesn't send anybody. He goes there himself to alert people, to tell people to go home. He's like on TV every day, his social media, he's always talking about how things are working, what can we do. So he's he's doing a very good job. Celebrities here are also helping. They're on social media telling people that what they're doing during quarantine, tips that you can, like if you're not working at home, because some people are not.
Hmm.
So if you're not working at home, what can you do to not feel bored or not feel depressed or anything like that? So they're really helping as well. And the first cases here in Brazil actually started at a wedding of a
Right.
famous person.
Okay.
So, like a lot of people got infected in the same place. So these celebrities are actually speaking about it the most, like how they're feeling. Um, some of them are not talking about their symptoms because they think that some people might get desperate if they feel something different. So they're not really talking about how they are actually feeling, but they're like trying to warn people to be careful, to stay home. Because, for example, it was one wedding, one person was infected, and then like a lot of people got infected by
Yeah.
this one
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
So it's very important to take care and stay home. But like the federal government, I haven't seen much in the medias.
Hmm.
Of course, they're always on the news, especially the health minister. He's talking about it and telling us to be careful, wash your hands,
Yeah.
and everything. Like, what can we do to make it better? But I don't really see like a campaign like, oh, stay home and stuff. Especially because this week the president told us to go back to work.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Makes
I
sense.
don't know what's gonna happen from now on. But he was heavily criticized, even by the other governors, because of it, because it was very reckless.
That's more or less the same thing that Trump said as well, that we need to get back to our jobs, and he was also criticized because a lot of states are struggling with California, New York, all of them are in a pretty bad state with a lot of deaths as well. There are more than
Mm.
1100 deaths in only United States, which is a huge number. But I hope that we come out of it soon. Yeah, sure. You want to say something?
Yeah, me too. Oh yeah, no, I just wanted to mention that you mentioned that it was the prime minister was the first infected, right? Like the head of state. And here in Brazil, the people who work with the president, like there were
Yeah,
23 people working for the president that were infected.
and
So
they
I was
also went to
surprised that
meet,
he wasn't.
and they also
I'm
went to
sorry?
met they also went to the White House.
Yes, they did. And I was surprised that the president didn't wasn't infected. I mean, good for him, right?
Yeah, yeah,
But like 23 people and counting.
and counting. But we can only do what's in our control, and that's taking care, not going out, washing your hand, keeping social distance. So these are the things
Mm.
that every individual can and should be doing, and hopefully we'll be able to find a cure to it soon enough that we'll be able to save more people. But till then, precaution is all what we have.
Yes, hopefully. I haven't seen my grandma in a month
Oh, yeah, that's another thing that
because since she is 7 years old, I don't know if I might be infected. I mean, I'm staying at home, but I still have an elevator. I live in a building. There are other people here. So we're not visiting them. We're just talking to my grandparents via like webcam and cell phone and stuff because we really want to be careful with them.
yeah,
You know.
yeah, it's good, it's good, it's hard, it's difficult, but
Yeah.
that's what we should be doing right now. Anyway, anything you want to add before we wrap up, or
No, I think that's it. I just think that people here should really search about what are other countries doing, what's happening in other countries, to see what that this is the best way we can deal with this. You know, like you
Yeah,
said, if a lot of people die, the economy will also suffer. So like either way, the economy will suffer,
yeah,
but we have to choose. Are we going to let more people live, or are we going to just let people die? You know.
yeah,
So I think it's important for us to really think about what's going on and think about others too, and not only ourselves.
yeah.
You know,
Anyway, thank you for joining me. Stay
and
safe.
also
Yeah,
ask the
sure.
government.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry,
Go ahead.
and also sorry, I talked too much. And also like demand that the governors and government do something about it. You know, and not just stand still. Okay, I'm done.
Okay, thank you for joining me. It was lovely talking to you. Stay safe, wash your hand, and I hope that all of us come out of it soon.
Me too. Thank you for having me. It was a
Okay,
pleasure.
thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.